Hello, Jake Nicolle here. Very excited to spend some time giving you guys the market update on what's going on. It's presently January 26th, so we are already well into 2024. This year is about to be off to a crazy start because here's just the quick summary since the year started so far is Helen and I spent the first week of the year in Jamaica, and from the time I spent sitting on the tarmac to then landing in Jamaica, I received so many calls. So we left January 2nd. And while I was sitting on the tarmac, I had a call about a listing. As soon as I got to Jamaica, I had a few missed calls from people that were saying, looking at getting my place in the market, thinking about buying and selling, just so much activity going on. And what that really told me is that most Januaries are a little bit quieter. People are kind of sleepily getting back into the market. And this year was like January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Everyone was going, let's really dig in with our real estate plan. So here's what I want to do. I want to give you a quick market update. And while we don't have January stats yet, because the month hasn't ended, I wanted to start with that little monologue to just share what I'm noticing in the market. So we have a listing out in Georgetown with our team. That property had multiple offers, sold over asking, a lot of activity there. Do I think that's going to happen everywhere really soon? I don't know. I'm not sure. I think that there's a pent up demand of buyers waiting to get into the market, but I think that that was a little bit of the anomaly. We have other listings deep into Niagara where they're priced well. Some of them may be priced a little bit higher relative to just the market and what buyers are able to afford, and they're sitting a little bit longer. Then we've got listings, spread out throughout Hamilton, Ancaster, Burlington, Oakville. And again, mixed reactions in terms of how fast things move. Then I've got other buyers where I'm noticing the houses that we're looking at, there's offers going in on those homes. There's things happening. So it really is a transitory time in the market where we're going to transition into spring and people are waking up. So the inventory that you're seeing sitting, we're going to start to see it get snapped up because there's people that have to make moving decisions and they're going to buy the properties that are there. And then we're going to start to see a lot of inventory hit the market. So here's what's going on. Just as we take a look at the market, we can see that the average sale price all throughout the GTA, this is taking in a lot of data, so it's really good to look at the trends at a high level. We're noticing that the average sale price in November was 752, in December 757. Those aren't big changes. We're seeing the market had cooled off over the summer, all right? But even then, from our high of February 2022, when the market was at its absolute peak, we can see that we had a little bit of a bump here in the summer, and then things have been cooling off. But I anticipate that we're actually going to see quite a bit of activity with our average sale prices because the Bank of Canada has just announced again that they're going to hold rates. I do anticipate, I'm just hearing so much about them potentially lowering rates. That could be really dangerous from an inflation standpoint. And if they do decide to do that, I think it's going to be a little bit of a frenzy because the buyers are going to feel like maybe they've missed the bottom of the market. Maybe they need to buy now before it gets too crazy. And that could cause a little bit of a buying spree. But it is so difficult to say because the Bank of Canada could also come out and continue to just hold rates or even raise them again. Like we just don't truly know. So I anticipate they're going to try and hold them for a long time, which is what I think that they probably should do. Whether or not you want to hear that is one thing. Whether or not I want to hear that, I'd love my home value just to keep going up. But we also have the economy at large to be concerned with. So here's what we're going to see happen, though. Check it out. This is what I can tell you for sure is going to happen. If we look at the market, this is the heartbeat of the market. I show this every market update, which is every single year like clockwork. The lowest point in the market is December, okay, for new listings hitting the market. That's houses being listed. And the peak almost every single year is May, all right? So you can see May. This right here was COVID. This is 2020. So you can see this is a little bit of a hiccup in the heartbeat of the market, all right, a little murmur in the heart. And then since then, the market's been kind of finding its footing. But look, December. So this is one of the lowest years on record for inventory. And right now, you're feeling that. You're feeling that there's a lack of inventory in the market. And that's okay because it's about to change because every year, like clockwork, look what happens when January rolls around, okay? January, there's a whole ton of new inventory that hits the market. It cools off a little bit in February. And then March, April, May, those are listings hitting the market. Here's what's really interesting about that. When we follow that trend with sales prices are a little more all over the place. They don't necessarily follow the activity of listings hitting the market in the spring. So you can see even here, this specific year, 2018, prices were kind of rising a little bit August, September, and then October they started to cool off into December. Okay. This next year, April, rising with the spring market, cooling off a little bit over the summer. All right. And then there's a little bit of a spike toward the end of the year, and then they cooled off again November, December. So it's really difficult for me to anticipate prices because, I mean, look at 2022 to now, right? There's been such a flurry of changing variables, whether it's the war that started going back originally with Russia and Ukraine, then we had Israel. So there's just a lot of things going on economically that cause people to be excited to move, not excited to move, fearful of what's happening, fear of missing out. There's a lot of these variables. So the main thing I wanted to show you is that new listings, we're going to see a ton of listings hit the market this month. Once we see the data, we'll see that big spike, and you're probably starting to notice a little bit of it, but I anticipate there's going to be a lot more timing toward February, March, and April of new homes hitting the market. And then you can see obviously sales follow that exact same pattern, because when there's more houses available, there's more houses that people like, and they make buying decisions because they feel confident they'll be able to find what they're looking for, and vice versa. And then sales activity. You can see sales is also very low because inventory is low. You can't have sales without inventory. All right, days on the market reach let's go to the average here, not the median. You can see the average amount of time houses were spending was 43 days on the market as of December. I anticipate that we're still going to see quite a high number right now of days on market. And what you are going to notice, though, is that days on market will soften a little bit as we head toward the spring. So look, every year, December, most days on market, and then it cools off. Here's the trend to notice. We are still at a time where 43 days on the market feels like a long time, but historically, 43 days on the market would have been like the spring market back in the day. So we're I want to use the word spoiled to say that we're very used to homes selling fast. And we're spoiled because we're used to being able to just put our home up, sell it, move on to the next thing. Traditionally, things have taken a little bit longer, and we're just used to this now. We've got a new standard, but I do anticipate us to see these homes still move a little bit slower because there's just more variables at play right now. But there's still this massive supply and demand problem. So the things to hold up in your mind is we have interest rates. That's a big variable going on. We have a supply and demand problem that is not going to be solved anytime soon. And that is the simmering undertone of our market is we always have a supply and demand problem. We have this new, more recent variable that's been introduced, which is a big shift in our interest rates within a very short period of time. All right. And these two factors really are the teeter-totter within the market. But we just have such a supply and demand problem that house prices are always going to be relatively high price per square foot compared to other areas in the country. Here in the GTA, it's just such a desirable area. There's so many things happening with jobs, with immigration. All right. And then those are the two biggest variables at the moment to think about. There's obviously tons of other economic factors like unemployment, etc. All right. So there's a quick update. Okay. So here's what we're going to see happen. Sales prices, I anticipate we will see a rising sales price because as things hit the market and those buyers start to wake up, they're going to have to compete a little bit to get houses because we've got such a supply demand problem. And if the interest rates just stay the same and that becomes normalized to people, people still need homes to live in. They still want to buy and sell houses. And I anticipate that we will see a little bit of a rise in prices. If they decide to keep interest rates the same, but then they decide maybe to raise them, that could influence house prices negatively. If they decide to lower house prices, that could cause a really big movement in house prices. So I don't have the crystal ball. I'm just guessing. And I'm guessing as educated as I can be on the market. It's still just a guess. Okay. So none of this is like financial advice on trying to time the market. I really believe if you're buying and selling, you're doing it in the same type of market condition. And you want to make decisions based on finding homes that you really love and making the decision to move toward or away from it based on if you find something you love, go for it. Don't try and time the market per se. It's very difficult to do. And if we could time the market, we'd probably all be billionaires. All right. So it's not worth stressing about. All right. So to wrap up today's video, thank you guys so much for watching this. I'm so excited to hear what plans you guys have this year. So as always, pick up the phone, give me a call. I've been getting calls from so many of you guys and I greatly appreciate it. But you today watching this, if you have plans in the next 12 months, pick up the phone and give me a call so that I can give you some perspective on maybe when the best time to do it is. Maybe we actually want to encourage you to wait a couple years down the road, depending on what your plans are. But it's good to just get that perspective and know that you got somebody in your corner like myself who's following all the trends, knows what's going on, and is never in a rush. I'm never going to rush you, so help point you in the right direction. Feel free to pick up the phone, 289-204-2227, or you can email me, jake@jakenicolle.com, and I look forward to hearing from you. Hope you have a lovely weekend, and hope you have a fantastic month ahead into February. Cheers. Take care.